let's dig deeper on the whole analytics because that's what we're really interested
Yeah.
in. Because
This is why we got Coach Paolo.
this is a first for me actually. Like
Mm.
I'm used to just talking to players, athletes, and
Mm.
to approach the game very differently. And this whole, not just even differently in a sense of playing and coaching, but digging deeper through analytics. I love studying numbers as well. That's why I'm super curious. And I guess the first thing I'd like to ask is when people hear the word analytics, somehow a common initial thought is Harden's Rockets with, removing traditional bigs, stretching the floor,
Right.
tons of threes, driving to the hoop.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that common association?
Okay. First, I'll throw the question back to you. So, when you first heard of analytics, what do you think of?
For me, it's
For
more of like more points. Basically, more points on the board.
Okay, so it's like a higher pace, more shots up,
Uh
lots of threes.
huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you,
Same,
Justin?
I guess, because it's about efficiency. So you either pick your 3 pointer or drive to the lane and do it as fast as possible so you have more opportunities to do so. And
Okay.
watching the Rockets who rave about analytics, I guess that's the association I kind of made as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that I think people misunderstand is like there's this people some people are saying like analytics changed the game, and I 100% disagree. Okay, because the analytics are numbers that are based on how the game is played, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not analytics comes first and then that's how they're gonna play the game. No, the numbers come from how teams are playing the game. And the reason why teams are playing the way they play right now is because of a rule change. Okay, so what was the major rule change in the late 90s to the early 2000s? Like, can you guys think of a rule change that, like a major rule change?
Hand check.
Yes, the hand check,
Check, right.
right? So they took out hand checking so
Okay.
that smaller players now, like a Steve Nash, who's a two-time MVP, are now able to get into the paint. And then what's the easiest shot in the game in theory?
There you go. Layup.
Layup, right? So like you're not gonna
Plus the
allow a
buzzer.
guy to go all the way to the paint and then come and get a layup, right? So
Right.
now what happens is someone's gotta help.
The help. The big man.
A big
Right.
man or someone's gonna help. And then
Right. Right.
now there's rotations, and then now
Mm.
there's like an inside penetration, a kick out, and then that's why there's more threes. And then they just
Right.
figured out like, why am I gonna shoot long twos if I can shoot threes? It's a better shot, like in
Mm.
terms of math. So
Yeah.
that is the reason why teams play the way they play right now. Okay, if you went that and that's the reason why like they're saying, oh, there's no more mid range. Well, why do
Mm-hmm.
you need a mid range? Before you
Mm.
needed the mid range because of hand check. And who could beat the
Mm.
like if you can
Mm.
hand check, who are the players that are good enough to beat their defender one on one with a hand check? It's isolation players, guys who can hit a jump shot, a mid range jump shot like a Jordan, a Kobe, or Carmelo
That makes so
Anthony,
much sense.
right? So because of the hand check, like you gotta go one on one. It makes sense.
Right.
Like you got a guy who can has a good matchup. He can probably hit a tough shot over him.
Mm.
You have to go one on one. You take out hand check. I can't guard you one on one now. You blow by me, and now there's all these defensive rotations behind pass, drive and kick, and now it's like a lot of threes.
Right.
Okay, and that's why a lot of teams are shooting lot
Mm.
like in the NBA.
Makes
That's
so
why the
much
teams shoot
sense.
threes. Okay, that said, okay, I think the mid range here in the Philippines is still important because
Right.
number one, it's more physical here. Like you talk to
Okay.
any PLM who comes from the States and then or wherever, they come over here and they're kumbaga pikon sila lagi.
Yeah.
Because players here are very rough or physical and it's just the way the game's played here. So
Mm.
now you need to be able to go a little bit of one on one, hit the mid range shot. Okay. And then number two, we're not tall. we can't go all the way to the rim and try and get a layup over someone who's like a 6'8", 6'9" shot blocker. We need to be able to hit a mid-range jumper or a floater in that mid-range area. So that's why for Filipinos, the mid-range game is still like it's in a way it's still needed here. That's what my realization is.
Right. And like if you're always gonna drive, the defender's just always gonna sag off. So you really need that.
Eventually, you're gonna have to hit that
Yeah,
shot.
you need to have that shot to give the respect, right? To get the respect.
What about
until they come out?
what about your thoughts on given that whole context? Now I got a way better picture. A lot of people associate analytics to the Rockets, especially Harden's Rockets. So is that a fair picture to paint when you hear the word analytics, or do you think the Rockets, I don't know, maybe took it too far, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I think one of the major reason is they got I mean, they had their GM was Daryl Morey, so that's already a big like he's the guy who introduced the analytics revolution, so to speak. I think it's fair to like there's a connotation like oh when you think of analytics you think of the Rockets, and for me like you can't win playing the same way as like for example like you can't win the same way that the best team will because you don't have their players, so you got to play a different way. And a lot of people said that the Rockets were failures because they didn't win a championship, which for me it doesn't make any sense. Because if that's how people think, then 29 other teams are failures every year, right? That means their system sucks because they didn't win. That doesn't make any sense. Who was the team that gave the Warriors the hardest time? It was the Rockets.
Yeah, it was.
Right? And if CP3 doesn't get injured or if they don't miss like 27 threes in a row or whatever it was,
CP3
maybe they're champions.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can't say like this way is better than the other. It just so happens that they didn't win. So but that's the price of not winning though.
Hey, great. Man, that was so eye-opening. I swear. And the importance of the mid-range, I never thought about that for real. And I thought I knew a lot about basketball.
Well, as a coach, I would still say if you can work on shooting. And I don't even care where it is. It's like shooting is the number one skill that you can have in basketball. It's like I can't, and there's a reason. Like I don't know why, but generally our basketball culture here is we're not as good at shooting as other countries. I think it's us because we like taking it to the basket, fast pace, fast break. It's just the way we play. But I think like we definitely can get better at shooting. So if like for me, if I see someone who can shoot well, and even if he can't dribble to save his life, I'll be like, no, it's okay. He can shoot. We can figure out the other parts of the game.
Man, I wish I knew that when I was a varsity. To the young guys out there who are watching, man, work on your shot. Your shot, man. All right. So, yeah, we talked about the whole Rockets team play. But there's also, as well, there's good use to analyzing film when it comes to like if you're teaching one player, maybe like you're gonna break down his film, his pros, his cons, the things that he likes to do that may be good or bad. So, Coach, I just want to ask, what are from your standpoint as the guy that's analyzing the film, and you're trying to soak in something. What's the difference when you're analyzing the film of a certain player versus the film of a team?
Okay, so for players, am I working with the player or am I about to
Yeah,
break down the player?
you're working with the player.
Okay, if I'm working with the player, like it's my player, I'll break down his clips. I'll cut a lot of clips and show them what they could have done well better, and also what they did well. You know, I mean, it's important as a coach and as a teacher. Like you got to point out both the good and the bad. And for me, it's just about being honest. It's just saying like, look, you did this well. You could do this better. Your decision making here could have been better. So for on a player, that's what what you're trying to break down with them. Just trying to help them
Mm,
improve how to see the game better.
mm,
More about decision making. Like you could
mm.
have done this a little bit better. Maybe you could have hit your teammate here for a pass, or you
Okay.
could have used a different pass here.
Right.
When it comes to the team, it's you're always trying to correct them on team concepts or to encourage things that you want in your team. So you'll always show clips of correct defensive rotations,
Okay.
good extra passes. Maybe you're gonna show them like, okay, we were defended this way on this play, so if they do this, we're supposed to do some other. Like if they're on a drop, maybe you should pop instead of roll, so that you drag the
Okay.
big guy out or something. Or their side push, if you want, you can snake it. Or I mean, these are like terms that the players will understand, or if they don't, you just teach them
Mm,
that. So that's for me how I like if I'm working with my own team. If I'm scouting another team, so if I'm looking at a player, I'm definitely looking at their tendencies and
okay.
how they get their shots. So one is what
Okay.
kind of shots they shoot, and number two is how they get their shots. And then of course, if you
Okay.
can show clips of good defense on them, so you can try and stop them.
Okay.
Or if they're a good defensive player, maybe you're like you got to you just remember that this guy will gamble for steals. So you try to back up
Mm,
everything with both analytics or data and video. So it's like you
right.
have like a 1-2 punch in showing a player like this is how
Right.
this
Right.
guy plays. When it comes to teams, I break them down by mostly like what type of actions or plays they like to run a lot.
Mm,
And I think the crucial thing is like, and I learned this like when I got a bit older, because when you're young, you want to try and prove that you know everything, you know your shit.
okay. Okay.
So you give the
Yeah.
players and the coaches everything. It's like a
Yeah.
25-30 minute video, and then the coach will be like, "Look, I only want 5 minutes." So that's part of and this applies to like basketball and non-basketball. Like the term less is more.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Right.
You want to trim the
Right.
fat, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you want to get your point across without giving too much information. Because if you give too much, they're not gonna remember anything.
Mm,
Okay. So I tried to make my videos, when I was younger, they were long. They were really long videos. So it was like
yeah.
I keep forgetting that like if it was me, yeah, I'd watch the whole thing because I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
But the players gonna be like, I don't. They're gonna lose. Like the attention span is not long. So
Uh-huh.
if it's longer than like 8 minutes, it's gonna be like they're not going to remember it. So it's like I try to
Yeah.
make it 5 to 8 minutes, and then I post a different one longer. Like it's up to you if you want to watch the longer one if you want. That's
Mm.
what I tell them.
Oh, great, great.
So
Yeah.
there are some players who will watch it, and there are a lot of players who just won't.
Mm,
I mean, I don't really like. If it was me, of course, I'd want them to watch everything, but I can't.
mm,
Like, players are
yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a big part of coaching is really how to deliver your message. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to do it in a way that you got to meet them halfway.
Mm. Damn, that's great. Okay. Okay, okay, coach. So just adding up to that, adding up to how you analyze team play. So I saw you had a video with the TNT series,
Yeah.
Talking Texas and Ever series. So yeah, that was a 7 game series. So if you were the film coach or the guy breaking down the film, and you're going through a 7 game series, so yeah, talk us through the adjustments that you're like seeking from the videos that you have or the videos that you're analyzing to
Okay.
prepare for the next game in the series.
Okay. Okay. So I think one thing you got to realize, okay, the PBA is very like the PBA's format is very different from the NBA's, and even very different from like UAAP, NCAA here. Okay, because
Mm.
PBA is in a conference, it's single round, so you're only gonna play a
Right.
team once, and your regular season game or elimination round game is super important because they
Mm.
can make the difference, especially with a quotient system where you can easily go from fourth to like seventh,
Right.
even if you're
Right.
tied, which is what happened to a bunch of teams in the bubble. Okay,
Mm.
now in a series, especially a long series where it's 7 games. I think as a head coach, and of course I'm just a video guy, but of course I've been in the meetings and discussing with the coaches. Like you have to throw a lot of different defenses and coverages,
Mm,
especially against really really good players.
gotta
Okay,
keep them
so in a
guessing. Yes.
series,
Yeah.
like in the first game or two, you might show whatever mush or a show on a pick and roll against Jason
Right.
Castro, just for example.
Sure.
Okay, and then maybe later on in this, like in the third game, you start showing a zone, or in the fourth game, you start trapping him. And a lot
Right.
of times, you're gonna see a lot of in-game adjustments where it's like, okay, this is our base defense, but in a timeout, they'll go, okay, one time only, we're gonna trap him on
Right.
this.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of adjustments that are made, and also it goes offense and defense. So you're gonna look at how they defend your play, and you're okay, they're doing this to us, so we need to make them pay. Maybe we can run a different variation. Same. I don't know if you guys have heard of this saying. It's like the best lies have the most truths. Okay, so what a lot of teams will do is they'll have the same initiating action, and then
Okay.
all of a sudden a player's gonna do something different. So like the defender's thinking, okay, this is just a regular horn set, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden
I've
something
seen this
different.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then
Yeah. I
it's
see.
like
Yeah.
it's a variation.
I see.
So you want to make it. You want to like we talk about offensive decision making. You want when you're on offense, you want the defense to try and make decisions also, and
Yeah.
hopefully they make poor decisions. So you're
Mm.
trying to test them also. So in a series, you're trying to look at how they're adjusting to you, and it's like chess. You're going back and forth, and it's
Mm.
really cliche, but that's really how it is.
Yeah.
And it's difficult in the sense that um, the games are like every other day.
Mm.
So, for example, if in PBA it's like MW, is it no, it's Tuesday. Wait, what's the schedule there? Uh, Wednesday,
Right.
Friday, Sunday. Wednesday, Friday,
Okay.
Sunday. So your adjustment from a Sunday game to a Wednesday game might be more drastic since you have 2 days of prep in between. So maybe your Monday is just a walkthrough, and Tuesday you can actually practice. But when
Mm.
you're going from a Wednesday to a Friday or a Friday to a Sunday, where you only have one day of prep or rest, and you might not even
Mm.
practice, you might not be able to make an adjustment because you're like, our guys, they're tired. So you
Mhm.
might not even practice. So how can you make an adjustment when you can't even get on the floor to practice it?
Right. Okay.
Right. So that's why it's like a lot of the work is also done in the preseason. So you might want to
Mm.
install a defense, like let's say a box and one, and you
Right.
don't use it the entire time until the
So
finals,
like.
but at least
Okay.
kind of practiced it like in the off
Uh-huh.
season. Okay, so
Okay.
I mean, I think that's the fun part of being a coach, especially at the college and pro levels, making
Mhm.
those adjustments and trying to figure out like how to outsmart the opposing coach.
Mm.
So I mean, that's a fun part of being a coach, I think, in my opinion.
Okay. So it's really important to have all those weapons, just weapons, playbooks, just ready for whatever
Well,
situation.
there's some teams who just don't like. For example, Nick Nurse, like when Toronto won
Toronto. Yeah.
they went box and one, they never practiced it. So it's
Mm.
just like
Yeah.
Okay.
sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes it'll just work.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right.
See.
Sounds like a lot of fun, especially if you relish those moments as a coach.
Yeah.
It's fun when you win. It's definitely not fun when you're losing a lot. It's not fun.
When you lose, it's like I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Or it's fun if you can actually do an adjustment, because there are times when you have a team and you're like, I want to do something else, but we can't
Yeah, I
because
see.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
All right. Let's continue the fun. We'll play a game.
okay.
Yeah, fun.
Just just a simple game. Fast talk. Pick one option, and you get about maybe 3 seconds or less. Just pick
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
and no explanation.
Yeah, no need to explain. No need to explain.
It's like you're gonna give me choices. I'm just gonna pick one of them.
Yep.
yeah, just
pick
two.
one.
It's just two choices.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll go rapid fire. So,
Okay. Sure.
are you ready?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. No right or wrong answers. We just want to see what your answer is.
Okay, all right.
All right, number 1. Nets or Lakers?
Lakers,
I already
man, come
know.
on.
Oh,
I
yeah,
already
for
know.
sure. Yeah,
I already
okay.
know.
Bonus. Number 2. Puso or Discarte?
Discarte.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Number 3. Dunk or three-pointer?
3-pointer.
Right. Analytics.
For sure.
I can't dunk. So I can kind of shoot threes, so I'll do
All
a three.
right.
All right. Sweep or game 7?
Game 7.
Okay.
Wait, for my own team?
Yeah, for your own team.
Oh, sweet, man.
Sweep.
Oh, sweet.
I'll take the
But
sure
as
win.
a fan, I
Yeah,
bet.
as a fan, game 7.
All right. Makes sense. One team but no rings or multiple teams with multiple rings?
Multiple teams with multiple rings.
Gotta get that true.
In terms of shoes, Kobe's or LeBron's?
Kobe's.
Okay.
Sure.
College ball or professional leagues?
College ball.
Okay. Ja or Zion?
Zion.
Okay. For a game winner, LeBron or KD?
Kobe. Oh, sorry.
Kevin
KD.
Durant. Kevin Durant.
I know. I was just joking. I was gonna say Kobe, but game winner? Yeah, KD.
Okay. Last, LaSalle or Ateneo?
Oh man, I'm wearing a Benil shirt, but I'm from Ateneo, so
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I gotta go with
That's
Ateneo.
interesting.
All right.
That's interesting. You gotta take off that shirts.
we're just well, yeah, it's kind of funny because there's 2 Ateneans on our coaching staff, so it's kind of,
Oh, okay.
but the way of the world now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. If you dig that video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not least, don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any video.